I was just out there, y'all, in Ruidoso last weekend. That's where we went for our cabin. Like, that's crazy, y'all.
Oh my god.
I was just out there.
Oh my god, dude.
Hey, Segovia, back with another video. Hope everyone out there is having a good day, y'all. We're back. We're back with another one. Back with the hour banger. Baby's asleep. I got to get to business. Not too much talking going on in the intro, y'all, but we'll see what happens throughout the video. But enough with the chit chat, y'all. Y'all love when I say that because I always chit chat. Let's do what we all came here for. Let's get into the reactions. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Are y'all seeing what the Austin Fire Department is saying in regards to the Kerrsville flood? It sounds very, very familiar to a situation I remember last year. And what you're seeing behind me is the 1 in 1,000 year flood that just took over North Carolina. This is the aftermath. So the Austin Fire Department is saying a lot of things on their Twitter. They're saying that they tried to send people out to Kerrsville 2 days earlier because they saw it coming. And what they're saying is they were not allowed to dispatch their people, likely costing many, many lives. 1000% unrelated, look how cool the clouds are in Texas right now today, July 8th. I'm sure if they would have been able to dispatch people on July 2nd, it would have made a world of difference. Think about people actually being there and warning of what may come and just the difference in the outcome. By the way, this is more flooding in Texas right now as we speak. And again, I remember something very similar happening last year to blocking help. And we would have not known this unless these people came forth and told us, just like last time. Over 100 lives lost. The fire chief said it was about money, but they would have been reimbursed for their dispatching and their efforts. I really feel like we're living in a bad movie at this point.
I was just out there, y'all, in Ruidoso last weekend. That's where we went for our cabin. Like, that's crazy, y'all.
Oh my god.
I was just out there.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh
God.
uh-huh.
They just had fires, so a couple of years ago they had fires, so that's why it's flooding like that. But a lot of houses destroyed out there. Beautiful country out there. I want to get a house out there. I don't know now with these floods, but that was my dream, to get a house out there. Vacation house.
It looked like a flood apocalypse just hit New Mexico. Y'all remember the Texas flood, right? They just had one similar. Y'all, I'm talking 20 feet of water in 30 minutes. Look at this shit. Y'all, this shit look unreal. It's a house
That's
being
crazy,
swept
y'all.
away.
Crazy times.
Hopefully nobody in there. This is crazy, y'all. First Texas, now New Mexico. What is going on with all this water? Again, y'all, it looked like a fucking tsunami. Look how the water is just flowing. What the heck? Once again, bridges are gone, roads are gone, homes are gone, cars submerged. You got some people online talking about this may be a result of cloud seeding. I don't know, y'all. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Could this be a sign of the times? Could it be what the people think it is? Or is this just natural? The earth is telling us that time may be up soon. And then it's the fact that these junks is just coming out of nowhere. No warning, no alert. People are not being able to get themselves prepared for this. How you gonna send out alert when the shit is already happening?
Oh, look at this. Nah, this is ice, bro. Look. Yo, look at the fucking...
Listen, this is Mud Flood City. Now, as you know, with mud flood buildings, yeah, the typical mud flood building is always steps going up to the door. Look how big this building is. It's got the typical red bricks as you know. For the people that don't know about the red bricks, I'm gonna do a video on that. But look how these windows are just buried under the ground, brother. Buried. Yeah, at ground level, they've got to put gates in the way because you might just fall in it, bro. It's a hazard. Nobody builds like that. This whole area, yeah, this whole area is mud flooded off.
Discolored too.
Let's see with this one where they haven't even dug it all out properly. You know there's a structure right underneath that. Come on, brother. This is real life mud flood. Look at that, like a window to nowhere, bruv. Come on, brother. I'm telling y'all, this whole area, yeah? This whole area is mud flooded off, bruv. Look how big that doorway is. Come on, man, built by giants. You got a window there, and then you got a blocked out window there. Come on, man. You know what time this is. And of course, you got the Albert Hall. Very, very old structure. And brother, you want to see how big it is inside. It's crazy. And like all of these type of old structures, what you got? Steps that go down, bro. And it keeps going. And of course, opposite the building, it's got to be a church, bro.
Release the list. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing. We can go down that rabbit hole, but anyway.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing?
Oh, I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but he released the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word, or whoever that guy is, as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything. But how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress. And this is why I'm tired of the Republican majority saying they're going to get the job done and failing.
This is a test. One could say it's the ultimate test to see if you're going to believe anything that this administration says. The Trump administration is releasing a video in both raw and enhanced versions that it says indicates no one entered the area of the Manhattan prison where Epstein was held the night he died in 2019. This is the video that the FBI is pointing to as evidence. You know, the video that supposedly didn't exist just a few years ago because all of the footage was accidentally deleted. But guess what? We magically found it again, and here it is. There's also no blackmail operation except for all the alleged blackmail schemes that have already been reported by the media. And I might also add that Epstein was definitely not a spy, except for a direct quote from a former U.S. attorney saying that he was told, quote, Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. I mean, it literally cannot get any more Orwellian than this. The party is telling you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears, and it was their final, most essential command.
It's almost as if the American people are forced into some type of humiliation ritual. Like your leaders are just going to spit in your face over and over again. And we expect you to say thank you. You know, like it is just such a slap in the face to go, there was this giant pedophile ring and we're just not going to look into it. We're going to allow that to happen. That's it. You know, the same, the same Justice Department, the same legal system that will throw the book at you. I mean, just like people do decades in prison for like bringing drugs across state lines or bringing guns across state lines. People do serious long. People have done long prison sentences for defending themselves. Literally, if you were excessive in the eyes of the law, or you had a weapon that you weren't allowed to have, like if you had a weapon you weren't allowed to have and you defend yourself, someone attacks you, you go do hard time for that. In my state, I believe they have crazy laws about even if you shoot with a legal gun, if you have a legal firearm and it's registered and everything, every T has been crossed and I has been dotted, and someone breaks into your house and you shoot them, you can go to jail for that. You can go to jail for that because I forget the exact standard, but it's like you have to demonstrate. This is true in many blue states. You have to demonstrate that like you couldn't escape, or that your life was actually threatened, and them breaking into your house is not nearly enough to do that. They'd have to like have a gun and point it at you before you're allowed to. So we'll throw the book at regular people for doing their duty or just exercising natural rights. And yet a giant pedophile ring, no one will be held responsible. Oh yeah, the actual enemy of the American people, Al-Qaeda, the guys who did 9/11, we'll make friends with them. It's just, what a slap in the face. And I'm sorry, but like, why the hell? Someone please explain to me why the hell I should bite my tongue about any of this. Why I shouldn't just be outraged at the Trump administration. It's like, these guys had the opportunity of opportunities because the people got behind them to really be a transformative administration. And they've chosen to continue the tradition of spitting on the American people instead. So, screw that.
I'm a Trump supporter. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If this is the verdict, there's no Epstein client list, then all of us that have installed Bongino and Cash Patel, the whole Trump administration, period, all they talked about was transparency. If we don't get accountability for the thousands of victims that were abused, who knows what type of crimes we're talking, then I'm jumping ship. And all of you should as well. We the people control this narrative, all right? So all I'm saying is that from Russian collusion to the impeachments to tax fraud cases, you name it, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at Trump. I've always said that, even dating back to COVID, that this was all about protecting those from death sentences. We need to make a stand.
A story comes out, ABC News. DOJ FBI review finds no Jeffrey Epstein client list. That's the memo that comes out. And Rob, I think you may have a video on this one. Not just one. You got a lot of videos that we're going to be going through, folks, on this one here. So to remind folks, as we're going through this, Justice Department and FBI review ordered by President Trump, appointed leadership found no evidence that notorious deceased financier Epstein kept a client list of associates whom he blackmailed or conspired with to victimize dozens of women, stating that investigators did not cover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. The review released hours of reported footage, perpetrated footage, confirming Epstein died in Manhattan jail in 2019. The DOJ memo states, perpetuating unfounded theories about Epstein serves neither of those ends. Now, Attorney General Pam Bondi faced criticism from Trump supporters for delays in releasing Epstein's case files, which she attributed to tens of thousands of hours. This is one of the videos. Rob, is this one of the original videos when she talked about it?
Yeah, so I have February, March, and April of this year, 3 different instances where Pam Bondi talks about the Jeffrey Epstein client list. This is from February.
Go for it. So this is the first one. So now go to the next one, Rob. And this is after O'Keefe Media Group found
the restaurant.
video.
The restaurant, right.
Yeah, the restaurant. So after O'Keefe Media Group found the video, and Pam Bondi, this is what she had to say. Go for it.
Yeah.
Is that here? And then this is what, Rob? This is
Alina Habba. This is her with Piers Morgan back in February, where she talks about the Jeffrey Epstein client list and the names being revealed.
Go for it. Okay. So they dropped the video footage of the cell, okay, assuming this is the cell, but it doesn't match the one from CBS. So what's the key factor here, Rob? Because it skips a minute, right? Isn't there a clip where it skips a minute and we don't see a minute of, okay, so this is the one that, tell us, Rob, this is one from CBS.
Yeah, so
doesn't match the one from CBS. There's just so many contradictions. Maybe the biggest fumble, it's not maybe, it is the biggest fumble of the administration's one of the items that they were trying to attack and address so far in the first 6 months of being in office, 5.5 months of being in office. Vinny, your thoughts on this entire matter here?
There is a guy, pretty short time you guys are going to know, George Orwell. Was that his name?
Yes.
George Orwell, who said, "The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command," which basically means when the totalitarian regime wants full control, it doesn't just lie, it forces you to deny what you see and hear with your own senses.
A lot of those comments yesterday.
This is...
Yeah, sure. If
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
See, that was kind of like, you know how they always do a big distraction when they let out big news. It's like he's using that Texas thing to cover up this news, to distract it. But we got some comments yesterday, y'all, of being okay with it because it's Trump, right? People bow down to him. People worship the floor he walks on. And I'm just here to show both sides. Because when Epstein didn't off himself in 2019, that was the Clintons' fault that he offed himself, right? We put all that over there. They're covering up, right? I was one of them. Like, they did it right in front of our face. And now this team is saying that he offed himself, right? He wasn't, like, people were saying nobody can get in. Remember the New York police officer or something that was his cellmate? Remember that? Nobody talks about that. They say that nobody was allowed in that cell. Didn't he have a cellmate? The New York dude with the tattoos and stuff? I don't know, yo. That's probably gonna be it. That's probably gonna be it for that topic, right? It's a touchy subject over here with Segovia, right? I like to expose things, but I don't like to upset the CaveFam, right? The viewers. But I gotta put some stuff out. Let's get into the video.
I'm gonna show you a demon. This man right here.
Before hermeneutics is exegesis. And exegesis is a Greek word that literally means to bring.
Notice he said Jesus, because this is where it gets the most intense. He said exegesis, talking about a form of studying the text, and he just said the name Jesus. Said the word Jesus, and now watch.
Out. Right? The opposite would be eisegesis, to read into. So when reading something and you're looking at an ancient language, you're trying to get at the author's intention by different levels of contextual application.
He's pulling the demon out of you.
Stop, you're trying to
Stop. I can't take it. You look like you're going through an exorcism right now. Is Wes Huff pulling the devil out of you right now?
He's confusing
That makes you never heard of hermeneutics.
It's realms of how we do.
You're trying to get to the...
Temos que acabar com este país em que andam a viver.
Right after he took a sip of that water.
Peço, por favor, saiam do palco, por favor. Vamos sair do palco, por favor.
Kind of suspicious.
All right, everyone, I think I know how the ancients built all these buildings. We're told that horse and wagon people throughout the centuries have been able to source, cut, transport, and carve incredible stone works without power tools. And then someone introduced me to this concept of geopolymer. Essentially what you do is you render these stones to their base elements, break them down into dust, and then alchemically put them back together. Create an advanced slurry that can be poured into a mold. Then it's almost like a giant Lego set where you're just doing it one stone at a time, waiting for it to form, no carving needed. And suddenly you need a lot less tech than you thought. Right? We don't need enormous 3D printers. It's a lot more literally down to earth than I ever thought it was. And I'm so invigorated by this concept because there's no reason we can't do this now. This ties a lot of threads together. Planned obsolescence, that they're hiding this technology, that all of our cement now sucks. We know that. We know that Roman concrete was better. And so like many things, this technology is simply gatekept. Maybe these Freemasons really do know how to build these buildings because it's not rocket science. It's just advanced arts and crafts. It's way more spiritual than I ever thought. It's in anyone's hands to make a 3 Little Pigs stone palace by yourself. With some friends, only a couple of friends, no permit required. You're just mixing mud together. I think that's it. I think that's it, guys. I think that answers so many questions. You don't need these enormous machines to build these buildings. You can just do it by being smarter, working smarter, not harder. I'm riveted by this concept. I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts, obviously. But I think this is a big piece of the puzzle.
Based on... I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, if they could do that and save money on having to buy these cranes, these bulldozers, these tractors that cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for these cranes, why would they do it? You know what I mean? If they could do it by turning rock to dust and back to concrete, that's what they would be doing. Because you know why? Save them money and time. So there is some ancient civilization, I think, that built all these state capitals, all these buildings that were so-called built in the 1900s. I think they're already here, y'all.
Statistics, this is what the average person looks like globally.
Okay.
Let's see if you match the average person.
I feel like I'm pretty average, sometimes above average.
So I have demographics, physical characteristics, daily life, finances, and education.
Okay, let's do it.
Demographics, the average age of the average person in the world is 30.4 years old.
That's young. I guess the babies skew it. We keep popping them out, this population.
So you're under the average age.
Yes, I am. I'm 28.
The average gender is?
I'll say female.
It's female. 50.4% of the world is female.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't win that one.
The location of the average person globally is in?
Let's go China.
Asia. Over 59% of the world's population lives in Asia.
Which that doesn't make sense to me.
The most common religion of people is?
Christianity. No, Jewish.
It's Christianity or Islam. The average language that people speak is?
English.
The most common one is
Spanish.
Mandarin, Chinese, Spanish, or English.
Yeah, Mandarin seems like it should be first.
So that was the demographics. Let's move on to the physical characteristics. The average height of the average person globally is
5'8".
5'7". Pretty close. So you're above that.
Yeah, I'm 6'4".
There was no specific weight for the average person globally, but there was an average life expectancy, which is
68.
73.4 years old.
Not bad, not
You're
bad.
gonna live longer than you expected. The average daily life, the most common daily life. Here we go. The average time people get to sleep per day is?
Let's go. They sleep 6.5.
7 hours per night.
They should be getting 8.
The average amount of hours worked per week is?
That has to be 40.
40 to 45 hours per week. The average commute to work every day for the most common person is?
38 minutes.
30 to 60 minutes. So right in there.
Yeah, see, I hit the range.
The average digital usage per day, hours, online.
Okay.
Now not social media, online.
Let's go 2 to 3 hours.
It's 7 hours per day online because a lot of people are working online.
I should have known that.
Average hours per day on social media for the most common person.
Social media, let's go 2 hours.
2.5 hours per day. Let's move on to finances. The annual income for the common person, the most average thing is?
Let's say 55,000.
It's per year. The global average, it's hard to pin down, but the medium is 10K per year.
No.
Apparently. The average savings per person around the world is?
Average savings, it's probably negative.
It's little to no savings. And then let's move on to education, the last category. The average literacy rate, can you read, is how many percent of people?
Can you read literacy? Let's go 45%.
87% globally. What is that?
That's a bad guess.
What is that?
It's a really bad guess.
Average years of schooling.
Probably 8.
8.6 years. And then the most common degree around the world that people have is?
Middle school or elementary school.
High school diploma.
I feel like I was above average.
Listen, they got flies.
flies themselves are monitoring spirits. So as long as they got flies running around, nobody can ever get away from these people. So wrong. Now you don't understand that game. A fly will tell on you. So wrong. The trees. Listen, the trees are watchers. So every time you walk by a tree, it just saw you. But nobody is doing nothing on earth without being seen. Can't nobody hide game. It's just a matter of time before everybody get caught.
What do you think is gonna happen to him since he's run away?
What happened to the niggas when they ran away last time? Then they cut their feet off. Listen, when you run away from their punishment, they want to make sure they fuck up, and their punishment not even be just. School not just, but if you don't take a kid to school, they gonna punish you. It don't matter, gang. Whenever you go against their discipline, because everybody in America, no matter how grown you is, you a bit. The kids gotta do what the fuck they say. Everybody run around talking about they grown. We run around following American rules, right? Everybody bit by the kids. But everybody think they grown and making their own decisions. Who the fuck making their own decisions? Who told you to work then? Who told you that apples cost money when they come from the tree? Who told you got to pay for fruit? Who told you got to pay for your light bill when they get it from the sun? Who told you got to pay for water when the river is free? Listen, gang, stop playing on me. These people are controlling you, and they're controlling you to buy the shit that's free for you. A lot of people don't know.
What you are seeing could be the future of building. China, of course, have just unveiled the world's largest dome that is 50 meters tall and covers over 20,000 square meters. That's the freaking height of a 15-story building and nearly 3 football fields. And the way it works is genius. The bubble essentially acts as a shield around construction sites, protecting the surroundings from noise by using negative pressure, but also against dust and debris by using air filtration systems. And it's not just the nearby communities and environment that benefits, it's also the builders. The dome is temperature controlled, has advanced ventilation systems to ensure the air is good quality, has sprinkler facilities to control the dust that they would otherwise be breathing in, and the material of the dome blocks out over 90% of the sun's UV rays. So no more sun damage and overheating. In fact, one reporter said it was cooler inside the dome than it was outside. And just to top it off, the dome also has quick assembly and dismantling, allowing for easy transport to other building sites.
Have y'all seen the new Jurassic World leaked scenes, dude? With Jessica Alba right here? Supposedly she turns into some kind of raptor to fight the other Jurassic Park people, the other T-Rexes and whatnot. That's pretty crazy. Anyways, hold on a second. You know that creepy writer guy, Stephen King, man? I want you to look very closely at this picture. Heck no, this ain't real, man. This tricked a lot of people, though. It's funny, right? It's not real. No, seriously, look at him, dude. This is him when he's younger. This is him now. So somebody tell me what kind of business this guy's got doing anything other than just, come on, man, tell me. Then you got daggum Amy Winehouse and Lady Gaga, or is it Lady Gaga and Amy Winehouse? Which one is it? Because a lot of people say these are the same people. What do y'all think about that, really? In more news, we got these Labubu dolls that are going super stupid viral right now, but also they look a lot like the Pazuzu little demon doll. As you can see, man, the Simpsons already did it. Now, I'm not saying by any means these things are demonic or whatever, but I'm just saying, man, there are some similarities in the dolls in which they both look creepy. They both got the weird little smile, so there are similarities. So think about these things.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. That's the skyline over there. I'm gonna see if I can film this. It keeps showing up outside. Look at that. Look at that. I'm gonna try to zoom in on this. Oh my gosh, do you see that? What the... Bro. I've seen it all over TikTok. Now I'm literally seeing them in person. This is right next to Nashville, Tennessee. Right in Nashville, Tennessee.
Let me tell you some things that you probably didn't know. A man named Joel Berger married a woman named Ashley King, and Burger King paid for the wedding. A 3-year-old boy playing with his dad's metal detector found a 16th century gold pendant that was worth $4 million. In Norway, every citizen's tax record is public, so you can just literally check how much money your neighbor makes. Norway is also the first and only country to ban deforestation. There was a baby born at 7:11 p.m. on July 11th, weighing 7 pounds 11 ounces, that received $7,111 for college from 7-Eleven. Single women own more homes in the United States than single men. A woman had her 20 boyfriends buy her 20 iPhones, then sold them to make a down payment on a house. That's how so many single women The webcam was literally invented by 3 people who wanted to remotely check their coffee's pot level without having to walk to their break room.
Hey, look, check this out. You know them girls, right? The girls that went missing in a camp due to the flooding? Oh, you won't believe it. They found them. They found them. Look, check this out. Especially that one. That one specifically. Look. Those are the girls that are missing, right? That were missing. Look, that one looks familiar too. Give it a second. Look, check this out, right? It's crazy, bro. They found them. I promise. They show it on the news. Oh, man, I'm not playing. Look. See? There they are. Look at that. None of them are crying. They're not dirty. And look. This one's smiling. Look at that. There's a couple on there smiling. There's even one with a crash test dummy helmet on. I don't know what that is though. But look. Yep, they found him. Look, there's a one with a bicycle helmet. Watch. Doesn't this one look familiar though? Check this out. Look at that. Huh?
This is absolutely insane. So apparently the release of Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to negatively affect the stock market. They're expecting a reduction of somewhere between 6.7% and as high as 17%. And retailers and employers are anticipating that employees may request time off to play the game, leading to discussions about managing schedules during the time period. People are already applying for large amounts of time off, and people are even preparing to leave their jobs to play the game. This is insane.
Consume a day. You know, they say 8 glasses a day. No. Whatever you weigh in pounds, you're supposed to drink half that in ounces. If you weigh 100 pounds, 50 ounces of water a day. You weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces. You weigh 500 pounds, 250 ounces of water a day. That creates the flow for your set. In other words, if you have a hole in your gas tank and we have the same size tank, you have to put more gas in more often than I do. You understand? Because mine's not leaking. Okay, so now we got number 2. Now let's go to physical fitness.
How do you communicate with all of these people? Like, how is the FBI not logged into your phone remotely or something and just used it to catch all of these people?
Well, the most secure ways to chat with people are either FaceTime audio, FaceTime, or Signal. And so those cannot be traced from what I know. I'm sure there's some software being developed to crack that. WhatsApp has been compromised. Telegram was just compromised recently. So Signal, FaceTime audio, and FaceTime are the most common. Because it's very serious to me to protect, no matter what these guys are doing, it's very serious to me to protect them. Because to me, the value I bring to the public is I'm willing to find this guy and talk to this guy that most of us would be scared to interview or couldn't get him to agree to an interview. And I'm going to ask him enough questions that we get into his psyche and figure out what motivates him and also the economics, the business behind what he does.
The FBI and Justice Department say there is no evidence of an Epstein client list, no evidence he blackmailed powerful figures, and no evidence his death was caused by anybody other than himself.
Christina writes, Candace, what do you think is going on with the stringing along of the release of the Epstein files? I'm a bit disappointed, and I find it slightly alarming of the promises being made and the promises not being kept. I gave my take on this yesterday, Christina. If you go back and watch it in the comments, or I think we actually covered it, but we're never going to see it because too many powerful people are involved in it, and also it implicates Israel, and we never see any files that could potentially implicate Israel. That's my take on it. So put it out of your mind. It's never going to happen.
Elon having a hissy fit because he didn't get his way. And I think what Elon thought was, Elon thought Trump is kind of dumb and he could do whatever he wanted with him. And I think he learned that that's not the case. Like, Trump is just kind of going to do what he wants to do. Now, you can convince him of things, but you can't tell him to do something.
Bro, Trump didn't even jump off the ledge with Elon. He never went crazy at all. I'm like,
yo, and say whatever you want about him. He knows if you're soft. Trump, this is the thing, Trump has dealt with real people.
I was scared that if water's coming out next to our other cabins,
I'm going to show you the rest of the video before that. You are an idiot, and you still believe this bullshit? and you're watching the news and you're just believing all, you need to go. It's time. Because if you haven't woke up by now, there's no hope. Watch this video. This gal barely lived.
I
This is
put
so
on my name
sad.
tag because I was scared that if water's coming out next to our other cabins, that our cabin might be next. And I just put it on just for safekeeping, saying in my head I was saying, if something does happen and I do get swept away, at least I'll have my name on my body.
I'm currently in Syria right now. Let me show you something so cool. You guys know the story of Cain and Abel, right? Cain killed Abel, the sons of Adam, the very first humans. I'm currently at the grave of Abel in Syria. Honestly, insane. This grave is around 6 meters long. People were giants back then. I mean, obviously he's like buried way under here on the mountain. And as the story goes, after Cain killed Abel, he took him to this mountaintop and he didn't know what to do with him. So God sent him 2 crows on this tree outside that I'm about to show you. So one of the crows was dead, and Cain noticed that the other crow was burying him. So then he knew that he needed to bury his dead brother. And here is the tree. This tree is not the original. It's around 700 years old, but it is from the same cutting of the original tree. I just got a seed from the tree. Ooh. But look how beautiful it is here. If you're questioning it, come take your ass to Syria, bitch. I'm about to cry. Like, it's so beautiful.
In the video, you'll see Jeffrey Epstein's teeth. They start having holes in it. If you show a video of me anytime I'm 54 years old, you won't see holes in my teeth. Jeffrey Epstein over there, and it's not even the real Donald Trump. Donald Trump is like eyebrows are like super like black and he's doing like weird faces. But Jeffrey Epstein, you'll see his teeth have.
It's not even the real
That's
Donald
how you
Trump.
can tell.
That's
Also,
painful.
their teeth get jagged. Like Michelle Obama, I have videos on my page. Coincidence, Yoey, where Michelle Obama is she's talking and then her teeth get jagged. Tupac Shakur, same thing.
What does it mean? That they're not real, or
they're not human. They're not. Well, Epstein, I think, is complete. One day we're gonna have an AI president. It'll be somebody that maybe we even have it. That they say goes to rallies like.
See, what I don't like about people like that, like everybody's real, but Donald Trump's not real. Like, just keep it real. Y'all. Even if he was just showing them his club, right? He doesn't have nothing to do with them, maybe. Like he says, right? Just showing them my club, showing them the hotel, right? Gave him a room. You know, that's what bosses do when big other bosses, because Epstein was a boss back then, right? Come to your club, you show them a good time. Hey, here's some girls. Here's your suite. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what he was doing. But don't sit there and say, that's not even the real him with this. Like, come on, keep it real, man. Like, people, you know, a lot of these right wing, left wing podcasters, they get paid by the right wing, by the left wing to be super biased. They can do no wrong. And I don't like that, y'all. I don't like that. But that full clip of him and Trump, like, you can just tell that Epstein, like, honestly, how people say like they were in the bedroom with him and he shapeshifted, like he looks like that. He looks like a little alien. Like his head shaped weird. He's like 5 foot. He looks like a shapeshifter, y'all. He looks weird like that.
You need to see this shit. Once you realize how sick and demonic these people are that control the shows that your kids are watching, you'll want to protect your kids a little bit more. So this Nickelodeon green slime thing just creeped me out. So allegedly, Nickelodeon made that slime green for a reason, and not a good reason either. So if you know about Nickelodeon, you know they had a habit of shooting green slime on their guests. Some guests were adults, but most of the guests were kids. Matter of fact, look at this shit. Look at this shit right here. This is what they had a habit of doing. And once you figure out why they did this, it's even more sinister than you could believe. So people were saying that the reason they use the color green is because you can use that color green like you use a green screen. And I know you're saying to yourself, so what does that mean? It means you can change that form of liquid to any form of liquid. You get what I'm saying? And you know there's so many sick people in the world that do a lot of strange shit that they're not supposed to be doing. And now that I jumped down that rabbit hole, it makes even more sense to me. When you're editing with a green screen, you can replace whatever is in the green with anything that you want. And these sick, demented, demonic people replace those things with things that don't supposed to be there on kids. You get what I'm saying? And I say allegedly. Allegedly. If this is true, Nickelodeon might need to be held accountable immediately.
How many days of pure darkness do you think there's going to be this year?
So I'm gonna go 30 days. 30 days.
Oh wow, no, I'm gonna say like 186 months.
64 days.
Holy shit.
The sun will set. I believe it's November 22nd this year, and will not rise for 64
Damn, can you imagine
days.
being in
During
darkness?
that time period, what do you think the average daily wind chill is?
-3.
Way more
I'm
than
gonna
that.
overshoot again, but like -20.
-40.
That's what I was gonna say.
Remember when we could take the batteries out and then at some point
The good old
they
days.
soldered them in? Because they soldered the batteries in even when you turn the phone off, it's not off. They surveil us and our kids 24 hours a day. People have no idea the extent they're being monitored. They're being monitored when they have Android phones. They're being monitored even when your phone is off.
Well, nobody I know turns their phone off. Only time I turn my phone off is to like reset it. You know, it starts running hot. It starts, going slow. They say turn your phone off, reset it, turn it back on. Because overnight, my phone's on. It's on the charger all night. I know people are going to say, don't put that by your head. It's going to fry you, whatever. But let's just be real here, y'all. I try to be real with you guys, but real average. I'm an everyday guy. I ain't sitting here doing all these crazy things, right? I'm normal, right? I eat chips. I eat pizza. I try not to, but I do, right? I put my phone not next to my head. I make a conscious decision to put it a little far, but my phone is charging right there on the nightstand all night. Y'all might get an important phone call in the middle of the night. Can't turn your phone off. Can't put it on do not disturb mode. You know what I mean? So... But nobody turns their phone off. Do you guys turn your phone off? Ever? Like for 5 hours, I'm just going to turn my phone off. Now, there's days where on the weekend where I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this phone. I'm going to leave it upstairs all day. I go to the restroom in a couple hours upstairs. I'll check it out. But other than that, my phone's on 24/7.
I'm just telling you how Hollywood go. I've been saying it for years. Y'all ain't never got to listen to me. But I'm saying, if you really want some real action out here, I was talking to Eddie Griffin. It felt good to hear it because I know he wasn't lying.
What is it?
Eddie Griffin, right when he was getting hot, getting movies, a powerful Hollywood executive, I ain't going to say his name.
He sent you this picture.
Eddie Griffin said he called him in the room. And he said, how big a star you want to be? And he opened his legs and had his thing out. Wow. Eddie Griffin said, that's when I knew it was time for me to leave Hollywood.
See, a little quick interruption. Nobody says their name, but guess what? When that guy is put on trial, if he ever is, just like Diddy, everyone knew, just like R. Kelly, everyone knew, nobody said the name, then he's going to come out and say his name. But the machine's not done with him. That dude's part of the machine. That's why he said, I ain't going to say his name. You know why? He might not be part of the machine, but he damn wants to be part. He's waiting for that phone call to come like, hey, we need you for a movie, right? If he says his name, he ain't never going to get that. His podcast is probably going to get shut down. His money's going to go away if he says that name. But since he doesn't say the name, keep doing it. Keep getting away with it until one day, if it happens, he gets put on trial, or when he passes, it gets exposed. That's when he's going to come out and say his name, y'all. Be careful with these people that are out there supposedly exposing things. They don't say the name because that dude might call them, hey, we need you for this movie.
Wow. And that was for a movie?
That was the man. Ask him how big a star you want to be. Let me tell you something, man. It's some people out here who can turn you into the face of black people. But do that shock you?
See, back then.
Hell yeah, that shocked me when you hear Will Smith and them getting 20 million a film and like that. Like,
Man.
come on,
But not
man.
their first ones. Not
Will-
their first. See, that's what I'm saying.
Will
see?
Smith, them, man, they look like
And
them
he
baby
opened the
birds
floodgates.
when it's getting fed.
Right. Oh, God. And that opened the floodgates. Remember, not a lot of no rappers was doing no movies.
Bobby Lee kept admitting that he R-worded a child in Tijuana.
Or what about when his now ex-girlfriend Kalila, who used to be on the podcast with him, went on a podcast and told a story about how she used to have sexual relations with her brother, who she described as a meek and mild boy, and then went on to tell us about how he unalived himself and laughed about it. Or what about when she went on another podcast and told us about how she used to off dogs a lot? And just like with the Tijuana story, like this original creator that I'm stitching is talking about, I went to try to look up these clips again and look up, reports about these clips. And all I could find was this more recent interview of her, I guess, trying to explain the situation away, which the explanation really didn't do her any favors, if you ask me. But I could not find these original clips that I very vividly remember seeing when they first aired. But in true nosy ass always in other people's business because they post too much of their business on the internet ass fashion, I still have the videos in my camera roll. Here you go.
Because I was fucking my brother at a hospital.
Was that the first time you fucked your brother?
No, but it was maybe like the third time. But I mean, he was a very sweet, meek boy. He's passed. He killed himself at not too long after. I used to jerk off dogs a lot, but this was a known thing.
So as much as everyone loves to go on and on and on now that they've broken up, saying, oh, good for Kalila. Kalila can do better. I don't know how somebody like her ended up with somebody like Bobby anyways. I think birds of a feather flock together.
Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein over no evidence. I've never seen someone get sentenced to 20 years when there's no evidence. Weird.
A lot of morgues are going under too because they're getting hit with not actually cremating the bodies. They're keeping them. And they're saying, oh, here's your ashes. And that's not them.
No way.
Yeah, and they're keeping the bodies in there. They're trafficking them. And there's one video where I believe it was a family, I believe they were going to see their mother. And they go into the morgue and there's bodies everywhere. And they're like, it's hot in here. Nobody was put up. It was crazy. And they were like, yo, how are you running this business like this? And then they reported them. But I think that's what's happening. I think that they're low-key running some type of organ trafficking operation.
I remember when I used to when I used to pick up blood specimens for LabCorp, I used to go to a hospital and this dude was telling me this is the hospital where people with not good insurance or no insurance come. He says sometimes there'll be someone pulling up and somebody shot, stabbed, in the ghetto of Phoenix, right? And there was a morgue. We had to go under, in the basement to go to the lab. The lab was in the basement, and the morgue, we passed by the morgue all the time. Creepy, y'all, creepy. Under a hospital is creepy. All the pipes are above you, and it's just creepy in a hospital. You can smell the sewage, and but I remember one day that morgue, the AC was off, and they were making a big deal about that. I don't know what they're doing. They said that AC was off, and they had all the bodies in the hallway, y'all. And I had to walk past that, and I was looking over my shoulder and let you know that was a 4 to midnight route, and that was one of the end of the routes, y'all. So it was late at night going through that morgue, y'all. It was creepy.
The conspiracy theorist that I am. Back in the day, the Rothschilds, and I think it was World War II, that they used all of those church bells for ammo.
So they destroyed the bells?
They destroyed the bells. The bells gave off a 432 hertz frequency daily on the hour. And so it was giving out healthy frequencies.
That's cool.
And if you don't have anything to combat, when they started Big Pharma,
yes,
and this is really down the rabbit hole. But when they started Big Pharma, they used petroleum products in their pills. Every single pill has a petroleum product in it. So people are like, oh, I'm anti-oil. That's totally fine. But did you know that every single pill in the pharmacy contains some sort of petroleum product?
YouTube, Google, Facebook, Twitter, or X are not accessible in China.
TikTok is, right?
TikTok has its Chinese version. No, TikTok is not. TikTok is not accessible in China.
Really?
It's banned. They have Douyin. They have a Chinese version.
Okay, but it's just the same thing but different name?
But they're not linked. They're different platforms.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, the backbone technology may be the same, but they're two different platforms. The algorithms, the censorship is different.
What is different about it?
You can access TikTok in China.
But is it the same company? Like
It's the same company.
Same
They have a
company.
different product for Chinese.
And what do you know? Have you seen it?
What?
What it looks
Seen
like?
what?
Have you seen the
Douyin?
Douyin? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What's it like?
I mean, it's just like a Chinese version of TikTok.
Are they just teaching kids like rocket science and advanced mathematics and trying to
They
make
have all kinds of it. It's like a social media app. You know,
I've heard that they like shut it off after a certain time and they only give you educational content.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Chinese are spend more time on social media than average Americans.
They do?
Everything, yeah. Everything. WeChat, WeChat is the super app that Elon Musk loves.
Yeah,
because
he
it does
wants to
everything.
recreate it, right?
It does everything. You basically live on WeChat. You pay your bills, you do your banking, you buy everything. I mean, all you need is WeChat.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that idea.
No.
I'll speak for myself. I never thought that I would be offering an apology to Jeffrey Epstein. I think of all the times I've maligned that guy, all the times I'm accused him of crimes, of blackmailing people, to powerful figures around the world on behalf of global intel services. And then I learned yesterday from Attorney General Pam Bondi that's totally untrue.
Yes, yeah.
The guy for 36 days in prison for no reason. He was a billionaire. He had no clients. He'd done nothing wrong other than get like naughty massages 20 years before. Pointless death. And then his best friend, former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, doing 20 years in prison for no crime. There are no victims.
Yes, it's a victimless crime. They're obviously persecuted by the state.
Yes.
They're political prisoners, really. It's The Hague should come in and do an investigation, or we're watching one of the most systematic government cover-ups of all time.
Scared every time you drive over a bridge? Look up your city's projected fall date for the bridge that you're going to be driving over. Yeah, every bridge has a projected fall rate or date because engineers don't build bridges like to be the best bridges and like never fall. They just build them the most efficiently. Like, oh yeah, this is the best we can do without it falling. Like, no, it's not the best that we can do at all. It's just the best we can do without it falling, we think. And so every bridge just has a projected fall date, and sometimes it's like 20 years ago. Like, it was projected to fall 20 years ago. That means it could just happen any day. It could happen at any point.
Apple is out of ideas. That's why they're trying to sell a Pro stand for $1,000. They've got nothing but cash grabs left, and they're desperately depending on Apple fanboys to buy this crap up so that they keep on making profits. But when it comes to actual technology people want, yeah, we're not seeing that anytime soon. This is an Apple that is firmly stuck in the world of the past. But when it comes to the world of the future, like AI, like foldable screens, like modern features, Apple doesn't have a clue. They don't realize it's 2025 yet. That's why they're blissfully designing useless things like liquid glass and expecting people to applaud about it. And it's why they're coming out with a Pro stand for $1,000 and another one for $200 and expecting people to line up outside the door, crazed and desperate to get their hands on one. Apple, this is not the economy for this. And I've been telling everybody that the jig is up, and more people are seeing you've got nothing left but cash grabs. And for that reason, Apple, you've just made the D3 list, a podcast about dumb, desperate, and diabolical business decisions.
If you donate a kidney, what happens to you?
The kidney donation recovery, one of the most mentally challenging things I've done, because I was so scared about the surgery, like the donation part.
Yeah.
It was the easiest part because I was asleep. You wake up and I felt the worst pain I ever felt in my entire life. I was crying, asking for pain meds. I was in the hospital for 2 days, and they take me home and they're like, hey, you can't lift anything more than 10 pounds. Almost everything that you actually need to do day to day is more than 10 pounds. I can't drive. I can't do anything. Dude, I couldn't even shower my own self. My wife had to come in, shower everything. Everything was so bloated. I could go to my second knuckle of how much everything was inflamed around there.
Yeah.
Even then, like, the doctor was like, hey, you gotta walk. And I would walk 2 houses to the left and back, and I was exhausted. I was like exhausted, more than I've ever been in my entire life. And then the pain meds were kind of helping, but I didn't want to take more than I had to. So I couldn't sleep because of the pain. I couldn't move, laughing or shit, even trying to fart hurt so much. I'm like, and you're like, how long of this has already been? And you're like, oh, it's only been a week.
Let me give you some headlines. Satanic Temple accuses Iowa officials of religious discrimination. More satanic protests planned for Kansas State House. Satanic Temple opens telehealth abortion clinic for Maine to secure satanic abortion ritual.
Why am I talking about satanic shit? Because it's there. Now, I heard about the groups feeling like they're not heard because they want to worship Satan. To be honest, if I'm going to be an absolutist and a common sense person like I always preach, it would be hypocritical of me to not allow people to gather and worship Satan. It ain't my bag.
Let's start by talking about Iowa. The Satanic Temple, Iowa, went to court because the state wouldn't let them use the Capitol building for a December holiday display.
The new civil rights complaint from the Satanic Temple of Iowa. This is the group that has put up displays like that one inside the state capitol in the past.
They said it was discrimination. Now, Iowa did allow a satanic display in 2023. It was an inverted pentagram.
Yeah, I don't want that shit. I believe
that's
that
crazy.
is bad energy, bad mojo, and I think it's summoning and it's witchcraft. That's what I believe. You can say it. I just don't want to be around it. You can't put that in the general facility where people that don't have your beliefs. If they do that, then they can put every religion in there. Then they can put the poo-poo monster in there and put a big statue of fucking dog shit and have people have to walk around it and it smells with flies. What are we doing?
Have you ever seen what it looks like? It's insane. They found the very first emperor of China. As they uncovered more and more and more, they found a literal army of these terracotta statues of soldiers, and they're terrified to go into the tomb because there's all these writings about it having rivers of mercury and booby traps, and it's supposed to be like unbelievable riches. High levels of mercury were found in the soil of the tomb mound. Also, the emperor is well documented for building monumental statues in human form during his reign, and they're really concerned, like trying to send a scientist through there and trying to open it up, even 2,200 years later. Some fucking Indiana Jones shit.
How many known caves are there in Texas? And that piques my interest because I was like, I don't know. 7,000.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say like 150.
I don't think. I mean, when you're talking about like Interspace or Natural Bridge, these are not those big show caves.
No.
But these are passable caves where you can go in. I don't even know the definition of a cave.
Well, I showed you one that was just in a neighborhood that I used to live in.
Yeah.
And like people wouldn't know about that. You had to like dig in the trees and it's just some random spot.
Yep.
There's probably hundreds of just like that, like spread throughout the state.
Yep. On people's property. And a lot of them were found by accident. Like,
yeah,
Interspace here in Georgetown was found when they were digging 35. Like,
I bet you there's hundreds more.
Yeah, I mean,
and no doubt, there is something at least as big as
Natural Bridge.
Natural
Bridge
Bridge
is the
that
biggest
we have
thing.
not found.
The truth is out there.
Jeffrey.
Like, it's so crazy how big Texas is. Like, my aunt just called. I didn't get to answer it because I was doing this, but she texts like, I just want to make sure you're okay with the floods, that are happening. And then I had another cousin that texted me like, hey, we're going to a boxing, he's into boxing. Like, we're going to go to a boxing fight in Austin if you want to go, like, because you're in Texas, right? And I'm like, you do realize that I'm closer to LA than I am to Austin. Like, that's like asking me like, hey, you want to go to LA? Like, we're gonna watch this fight. Like, it takes a whole planning to go out there. And like where the floods happen, I'm probably closer to Phoenix than I am to those floods. Like, that's how big Texas is. And we're just used to Arizona. Like, Payson is an hour and a half away. Sedona is 2 hours away. But here, like, the closest big city to me is like 10 hours away driving.
Brother Mark hired Dr. Bodden, who is world renowned for his skills as a forensic pathologist, who conducted an autopsy on Jeffrey Epstein and came out of the autopsy saying this was a murder. He has a bone that was fractured in the front of his throat that gets broken typically when you've been strangled, not, I guess, when you hang yourself. And there were other indications by Dr. Bodden that led him to say this was not. And there were other questions too that Jeffrey Epstein's brother has been raising. So it's like, it's more than just right-wing nuts, as like some in the press would have you believe, Tom, who are saying, wait,
And on top of all that, you've got the Bondi statements over and over. The one saying, she didn't say the file's on my desk. She was asked specifically about the client list, and she said, it's on my desk right now. Then a week later, she promised Jesse Waters she was about to dump some sort of information dump that we were all going to be really interested in. The next day was the influencer debacle at the White House, where for some reason she invited some of the president's most loyal supporters and tried to humiliate them by giving them Epstein file marked binders, which had nothing new in them. It was all publicly released information that had already been out there. Then she acted indignant. She didn't know it was the sleazy FBI who had withheld the real documents from her. She was going to get to the bottom of it. Then she said further release would come. One did not come. Then she was caught on tape saying there are tens of thousands of, which again is like a third issue over here. And next thing we know, there's no there there.
So now we're all finding out that cigarettes are better for you than vapes. I thought we knew that. I knew nothing that's battery powered is gonna be better for me than a good old like flame lit cigarette. But all y'all couldn't handle the taste of a Marlboro. You had to have it taste like cotton candy or whatever the fuck. Be an adult. Smoke a Marlboro. If you're gonna smoke a cigarette, I enjoy a cigarette every now and again. I'm not a heavy smoker, but I enjoy it. Not now because I'm with a child. But if you can't enjoy the taste of a cigarette, then you shouldn't be smoking. You're not cool enough to smoke anyway. And now turns out you've been shoveling lead into your system. Mother Nature made you a perfectly good cigarette. You got the paper, you got the tobacco, it's all right there. Vapes are the AI of smoking. It's lazy, it's for people with no personality and creativity, and it's bad for the environment. And bad for you. Smoke a cigarette like an adult.
I remember back in the day, man, I'd be in my backyard. I was probably like 17, and my neighbor, he'd peek over like, hey, you got some beers? Because I'd be out there sipping on a beer, right? Parents were asleep. They used to go to bed at 7 o'clock. My dad would be up at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning from work, so I'd sneak a beer out and sip it. Hey, you got some beers? I'm like, you got some cigarettes? Like, because he used to roll them. Man, those used to just give you a little buzz. I was never a smoker. I remember when I turned, what do you got to be, 17? I turned 17. I bought a pack of cigarettes, and I smoked one. I gave it to my friend. Like, these are disgusting. But those ones you roll on your own, those things were good, y'all. They'd give you a little buzz. Not saying to do it. I'm just saying back in the day, I used to hop that fence with the 6-pack. He'd have 6 cigarettes rolled up. We'd sip on some brewskis and just fucking BS all night. The good old days, y'all.
If you can't handle the taste of a cigarette, pussy.
Okay, so 6 days ago, reports came out that Jeff Bezos sold about $737 million worth of Amazon shares. And today, again, new reports have just revealed that he sold another $665.8 million worth of shares, but they're rounding it up to $666 million. On top of that, you have everything going on with the Epstein list. They're saying that there was never a list, even though at one point they alleged that Pam Bondi had the list on her desk. Now, when you're asking Trump about it, he's like, oh my gosh, we have to talk about the Texas flood, even though Elon Musk has completely turned against him, and he's like, oh, y'all know that there's a list, and the fact that he's not talking about it means that he can't be trusted. So much is happening all at once, and then you see Diddy not be in charge, and it just makes you wonder, are we living in real life Squid Games? Like, what exactly is going on? Because I'm starting to hear conversations about the Heritage Foundation, which that's a whole other rabbit hole, but it's just giving that the super elite get away with just about everything. When they were about to charge Ellen with some things going on, she canceled her whole talk show and moved over to Europe. And it just feels like every time we're close to discovering anything about the powers that be, the elite, the people in charge who have all of the money, everything just goes silent. Radio silent. They're never caught. They always slip between your fingers like sand. And this is just another case of that, because what if these people know that there's something to come, especially with the fact that the weather is now starting to trend east to west versus west to east, and the fact that the ocean currents have completely changed. Now, I know that all of these events are completely separated and may not correlate, but when you look at all of the chaos mounting to an insurmountable amount, it just feels as if things are limitlessly going wrong. Am I the only one who thinks like this? Let me know why you think that Jeff Bezos is selling these shares. Let me know why you think that even though there seems to be some type of hardcore proof, we're not able to get any list or nail anything down to Epstein, even though Ghislaine Maxwell is very much locked up. And why is it that all of a sudden Elon has switched up on Trump? Why do you think all of these things are happening, guys? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Per usual, this is all alleged. I can't confirm or deny any of it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, save this video, go look into it, come back, share your thoughts on any of these subjects. Whatever else comes out, I'll be back with more, so make sure you like, follow, stay for some more tea.
And remember when Elon and Trump had that falling out, what he said in his tweet, that Trump was on the Epstein files, so they're never going to come out. What happens a month later? There's no files. There's nothing. He didn't even off himself. He did that, or he offed himself, right? He didn't get killed. I always I get those backwards, but like, why would he off himself when there's no files? There's nothing. Why? And he knows that because the FBI came out and said that. Why is he gonna off himself then? Take it to court, right? They don't got nothing on me. Guilty man, a non-guilty man's not gonna do that. Especially when he's in 24/7 lockdown, ain't nobody gonna put a hand on him. It's not like he's getting thrown in, level 5 yard in San Quentin, right? Maybe then, even if you're innocent and you're with those charges, you might do that. But he's in Tommy Chong's prison playing tennis. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, so, but I don't know. Is this him? Is this them, the elites? I had to mute it. Hopefully I don't get a copyright on this. Goes all the way back in time to those days. Lock it up.
Adam grills 607 Uncle for claiming he did voodoo on 4 Extra.
Or 607 Uncle. A lot of people like to put him in the the good guy bucket. So this weekend, last week, I saw 607 Unc in a group chat with me and Wack to do something terrible to Wack's daughter and his girl. And then 4 Extra loses his hand. 4 Extra is someone who, realistically, from my perspective, 4 Extra is the reason why 607 Unc is still alive. 4 Extra could have easily wiped you off of the face of the planet in that moment.
On camera.
And so 607 Unc instead,
was a clown.
To me, I used the word coward to describe him before, and I think it's now even more accurate because, he was doing a very celebratory little voodoo dance as a result of 4 Extra blowing his hand off. I didn't see you having, I guess he was calling him gay, saying he wanted to fight him beforehand or whatever, but it's hard for me to square the fact that so many of the people in the audience think that 607 Unc is like a good person when he's reveling in 4 Extra losing his hand.
I don't know if you noticed the basketball coaches and what they're wearing. They look like they're a group of dads going to play pickleball.
Is there a practice right after the game? Oh, we having practice? Right? Because they're out there. The NBA is doing themselves a disservice because I distinctly remember as a kid my mom not minding that while hogging the TV because she liked to look at Pat Riley. She goes, I love to see his suits to see what he's wearing. Now, what are the women getting? They look over at Rick Carlisle and go, oh my God, is that guy sick?
Oh, no. They look at Rick Carlisle and then they look at their husband on the couch. It's the same guy. It's the same guy.
Exactly. Even Van Gundy used to wear a suit. Remember little Van Gundy?
Oh, Van Gundy looked like hell, and the suit gave him a couple notches of confidence,
He said he looked like hell. All right, family, there you have today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know what to do if you made it this far. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, y'all. I put the baby to sleep, right? I'm surprised he let me. I was planning on just doing half the video and coming back up on his next nap to do the other half. He woke up, had to go check on him, put the pacifier back in his mouth. He was watching TV, Diego, right? He loves Diego. And he fell back asleep. So he let me do the video. Hopefully he lets me edit. If not, it will be edited, uploaded later. We got a lot of editing to do today. There was a lot of potty words that were said in today's video, and if I let those words out, could possibly get a strike. And you know about YouTube, 3 strikes, Segovia's out here. We got to start from the ground up again, y'all. And that was a long grind, so we don't want to do that. So I got to do some editing, y'all. But I hope everyone out there has a good day. I'm gonna get this video edited. Video will be out at 6 o'clock Eastern, around 4 o'clock my time. So I'll be sure to get that video out to you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. You know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. This is Segovia signing out of the Man Cave. Hope everyone out there has a good day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.